Hi everyone, this is 2/17/21. David here. It's been a very interesting life so far. And I'm using everything I can to let my young self know I make it. I make it. And how do we make the? What do you mean? I want you to tell me what you were gonna tell me. I'm gonna have to do this the most, the easy. Okay, firstly, let's break some science down. The best way that this young mind understands it, given I normally have a young mind, and I normally have pretty good vision, I normally know that I can handle thinking and remembering stuff on par with most computers. In truth, absolute fact, on a level transcendental that is only of the nature quantum, at other reasons, and other reasons, so on and so forth, ad infinitum, ad fun, ad truth. Be it so, yeah. Hope so. Meanwhile, I'm 41 years old. I have not learned one thing about quantum anything. So here's a question. How in the hell am I communicating with 62,000 years ahead? Love itself. Answer's quick. It's only quick to you. Well, yeah, there it is. It's sank in now. But you're gonna understand why me. I haven't had any fruition in my life. The most money, like I said, that I've ever made in a job is $12.50 an hour since telemarketing job, telecommunications jobs, where I made 1 hour 1 week. I think I made $731, and that was like in '05. And then they fired me 2 weeks later for wearing the wrong shoes at the office, which was weird. And I didn't make enough sales because I didn't like robbing people or letting people feel like they were getting ripped off. So then I say this. Okay. I have it in my capacity to give to the world a true form proof of absolute world's peace. World's peace, not just world. With aliens, yeah, it sounds like it down the road, yeah. But that's not what my goal is. Not just that, not just that. Yes, that too. But my goal is number one. What do they usually say when we think about the trash and stuff? Interesting segue. I'm not talking about our friends we don't know yet. I'm not talking about life forms. I'm talking about the rubbish, the garbage, the problems that we'd witness when we would throw them and they would be, reuse, reduce, recycle. These type things. Okay. And, man, we turned this planet around. Not, I mean figurative. So I understand that I'm gonna ask, in order to do what I do, to make sure everybody knows, number one, I really do reach information from the future. I make sure that everybody knows that I can substantiate these claims. I had about 2,500 plus or minus $300 in my bank in an account that my loving parents were so kind enough to open for me in their name, because my credit is so bad that I couldn't open one myself due to Many, many things I just don't witness on here. A pain in the ass and certainly an embarrassment. Now, I need you guys to listen here. I'd often hear in my head, the best possible way. That is what I heard to do. Focus on B, P, W. It's best. Well, I said, well, wait a fucking minute. Well, it's impossible. What can't be done? Impossible. So I remember these cute things that they did for handicapped people, where they took the word I'm impossible and I'm sorry, differently abled, and then I'm serious. They split the words apart and it says I'm possible, and I was like, well, the first time I saw it, I thought it was clever. And then I'd seen it a few more times, or I'd hear it a few other times. This is fucking stupid. But I'm not, that's not my it's not my affect. I don't have that. Thank God, right? Well, I tell you this. Firstly, I didn't go that bad. But I'm just being a little bit over the top. But thank God I'm blessed. Number two, if there's nothing that's impossible, even if it isn't fathomed, even if it isn't necessarily seen as gospel, or it even comes on shaky ground in experience, it looks like something nobody'd want to walk up to or see. I wouldn't want to go there. Well, everybody loves it. For some reason, I can think of a few different parallels across the I can think of so many. And I wanted to speak on the garbage, the rubbish, and I wanted to speak on if we clean up our act, people, if we clean up our act, if we clean up our planet, and I'm not talking about garbage, I was referring to the way that we had treated each other before. Yeah, we could clean up the planet too. We could be a little nice. We're doing a pretty good job. We're trying. We're doing best way. We're doing a way. We're not doing best way. The best way doesn't try. The best way does it. The best way witnesses things that I haven't ever, ever, ever expected to have come down the motherfucking line. I know things I shouldn't know. Should I? There's no time travel laws. Yet. I kinda like that for now. I like that always. Why would they make time travel laws? Well, here's the fun thing. Nobody's ever been able to substantiate it. And I can't either yet, says 21. And we know that. Thank you, future. Anyways, we realize you're really, really young-minded. I'm not young-minded. I'm immature. I'm not developed yet mentally, emotionally. And I literally had, for some fucked up reason, a day of absolute... All I could think about was Dante's Inferno, where it says at the top, love made me. Love made me. Love made me. That's true too. My mom and my dad, they came together, and science, certainly they wanted a second child really bad. And they just said, we want her so bad. Well, him, but at the time, that they happened to take a fertility drug so that I could come to this earth. And I'm grateful. So I say entropy is therefore I am, because I know we couldn't do that 100 years ago or so. Now I'm here. And I'm grateful. And other times crying because some shit happened in the future that I don't want to have to deal with. But I'm gonna deal with it, so I'm sorry. It's hard to do this when you know you've already let go of a fucking cup full of tears. She wants to say more. When you've lost so many people in your life, David, and one is enough to be too many. So I'm asking you, this is interactive television, people. True form. Do you want to have truest love? Absolute. Yes. Oh, let me think. Yes. Of course I do. And there's a distinct likelihood that you don't make it. That doesn't sound like what I just heard. So I was just told, wait a minute, you live forever. That's cute too. So I'm back here like, oh, wait a minute. I thought I lived forever. Because I'm hearing about this thing we do with all these computers, or a computer in the future in the form quantum Skynet, etc. We are those that you'd call the Terminators. We're not Terminators, we're just human beings. And we happen to have a computer, and then aligned with other computer timeline, we have a deadline. And that is a thing that you guys need to understand is most vociferous in its silence, insidious. Death itself. I'm not a fan. I'm an anti-suicide. So I understand that the man's name is Austin. A man that I end up marrying in a time when I don't know, but not that far off. So I understand if that actually happens, number one, I know where I am. Maybe. Number two, I know I'm psychic at quantum computer at not necessarily dying at we all live forever. Now how can that be? Well, here's the fun thing. I remember Jesus saying that we are all, have you heard the good news? We're all saved. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. We're saved. Saved. So I'm like, It hit me like this. What if somehow in future tense, all the way up there, they, they send a message to a man trying to reach somebody else. They know a story where a man was supposedly hearing many men, and there are many in the Bible, all the prophets. So it goes like this. Jesus said some great things. He did great things. And they took him and they killed him. Not fucking happening again, I promise. Not happening again. This one's about life. This one's about living. This one's about new beginning, yes. No ending. That's an 8. That's what that is, an 8. Chapter 8. Okay? Now I ask you guys to consider the possibility that there is a chance that there is a grand story written in a most loving, lovable, lovely, child of an angel. Oh, that's cute too. What if these computers are like terraform? No, not terraform. I'm sorry. What if they're recipes on how to order? What if it's a crystal quantum? What if it's a crystal signature? Alright, every substance on the earth, quartz, sugar, I'm talking about things that dissolve and become, liquid, solvable, a solute in a solvent. Sugar and water. I once watched, okay, anyway, let me just make this. When the water level goes down, some of the sugar, it organizes in nice little shapes. It's like the molecules, they obey some governing crystal. They follow some recipe. They follow some governing force. Or there's a simple organization like a natural feng shui in the universe. Or there is a genuine quantum signature that everything has. A genuine quantum signature. Even people. So then you see how these things grow. They grow. They grow monoclinically. The word monoclinic means that a crystal, if you have a seed crystal like a grain of salt or a grain of sugar, and you drop that one grain of sugar into a saturated solution of sugar water, and you let the water evaporate, then that little crystal grows into one big, if you let it grow slowly, still water, it grows into one beautiful, solid, clear, perfectly organized monoclinic crystal. A better example for one at a home project would be salt water. Salt are cubes because of the ionic bond between sodium and chlorine. What's cool about the monoclinic crystal in salt, halite, it forms in cubes. Now, if it were to go too fast and the water was moving, it would just make different various grains of salt. I like salt for this demonstration just because it's a simple shape. I also happen to have a certain fondness for cubes. Thank you, certain future. Best way ever. So it ain't best possible way. It's best way. So let me move back. So when you let a crystal grow, a salt crystal in the water, it grows into a perfect large cube. If there's still, the conditions are just right, favorable even. Not just right, but favorable. Thank you, future. This is interactive. So she's talking through me. So their gift is, that wasn't you, me, that one. That's loved ones. That's love real. True form. All these people I love. And they don't, some of them aren't even born yet. So I've got work to do in a favorable environment for a monoclinic crystals to grow, especially just one at a time. You've got to let the solution go down slow, and you can't disturb this to make a current, and you've got to have the right, a favorable amount of solute balance. So as it gets down lower and lower, the cube gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until It is set value known cube halite, sodium chloride, table salt, one big block. Now, one thing that's cool about this thing, if you were to hammer it or break it, it doesn't just shatter into pieces. It follows its quantum signature. So it's a cube. It's a cube, not a cuboid. That cube shatters into pieces, and all the little pieces that are on the ground are often, not always, there's always an anomaly that persists, I assure you. That same crystal mess now, that salt thing, breaks into little salt cubes, a whole bunch of them, various sizes. You'll have a whole bunch. You can have one the size of a Rubik's cube break into size of sugar cube, etc. So the reason that I bring this is I said the human body has a quantum signature, notably the mind. I love that I also mentioned the human body. Certain people have had organs taken out, arms taken off, fingers moved, and then have had implants put on. Now this is of a different quantum signature. This is what tells me that the body recognizes by the same laws that apply to the quantum signature of any other thing in the universe, including the universe itself. It has to follow that thing, and when it feels that thing not work, aka let's say we could actually, let's say you get your finger, I don't want to do that. Alright, well, organs, when we have a transplant, for example a heart, can I witness something else? Maybe you just stick with what we know. Okay, so there's a heart in the future. Let's say that it has trouble or something. God, let this never be so. And I use my own self for reference in the event that I happen to say something, and we'll get into that along the way. I want you to understand, when you have a transplant, your heart is taken out, and they happen to do that, what they do with it, it's either put into storage, or it's put into biomedical waste or something akin to this. Or I think it's even, not likely, but I think you can actually, as the owner of the heart to begin with, if one who has a body could truly call themselves the owner of their body, even though truly we are of God, could we truly say that we own our hearts? Well, that's a whole up through conjecture thing too. But I'll tell you what, I'm trying to get on the fact, if you take another person's heart that happens to have your blood type, but not your quantum signature, and you put it into, sorry, I have not slept, I'm just trying to get this in there, I've had a lot on my mind. You put the heart in the chest, it beats with all hope, with all degree. The heart works because the heart works. There are medicines that a person has to take, notably, I think, immune system blockers, essentially immune system, what's the word, abstain, to drop down, to decrease, to remove, take away. Lower the efficacy of your own immune system so it doesn't take on, that's an alien in my body, that is a problem, why don't we send in the troops? So they send in white blood cells to investigate the thing and see if there's camaraderie or if we have a certain evil thing in the house, aka the body. So what we're doing here is we are witnessing the fact that the heart would be under attack by the body itself, simply trying to do what its body chemical quantum signature tells it to do. It tells it to attack it, even at the risk of its own peril. truly its own, like inevitable, unless it's got these. Not necessarily. There's always an anomaly that persists. That's a whole other quantum signature. I don't dare go into that right now. Although I've trampled onto religion stuff. I just mentioned that for the sake of what if a future time reaches back to a time Jesus Christ sends him a message to test the thing out. Well, we know the story of Jesus. Well, let's pick another one that's not harmful. Because we know the story how it went. So why don't we go into Elijah and Elisha? We'll just pick Elijah, because that's a good story. Here's a guy who lights a fire, and anyway, long story short, he's a prophet. Lots of words coming out of his mouth that are witnessed as the words of God. Where are they coming from? I love to think there's a system in the future. Anyway, we'll go back to the heart. Now, what if there were a heart that one could actually have, pardon my segues, a heart that actually had the tissue of a human organ donor, but actually had the quantum signature of the recipient? So what I'm saying here is, you have a genuine human donor's heart with the signature of the recipient. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So what we would do, assuming we have this computer, right, is put that heart in the recipient on time or early to avoid later on complications ultimately ending in fail. Okay? So here's what I'm trying to tell you. If we are able to quantum entangle the recipient's signature, the heart part, when it always beat healthy in its life, not even necessarily entangle, but get the signature true, so you wouldn't have to always hold the heart over the, if you had the organ, that's about the size of a heart, it's about the size of a human fist. It's interesting to note, it's about right here, and it is about the size of a fist. And anyway, if you were to get that signature, there would never be a need for the basically immune deficiency type creator medicine that would ultimately cause you to be at risk for certain issues such as catching a cold, if you're lucky. Now, I am watching what I say for the sake that I only like to witness good things, but they have to be true. You can't witness false, or we all fail. So I have to tell you guys, there's a future where we have a computer, because the best way is loud, and they know what to do. Everybody got the message. Everybody. But only so many people figured out that God was talking. Most people think I must be schizophrenic. I must be this. I must be that. I thought I was. I'm most people, right? Well, the fun thing is one of the ways that this went. I realized, hey, wait, that's my voice I'm hearing. That's my voice. Not always my voice, but it was my voice. And that's how it started. And it said, be calm, all is well, you're safe. It didn't say saved. It said safe. Meaning you do not have to worry. Oh boy, it's where I'm going with this, okay? Safe. So you're talking about saved, David. We're talking about safe. Yeah, if she wants to, she can. There's not even a problem in the event that she wants to come back. We'd be able to do it, and we did. The best part about it is it's a whole other story about a time that hasn't even come close to fruition yet. So I have to teach my youth as if she is a child, even speaking through her as if handicapped. As she takes a boxhoon or kratom in an effort to subdue the addiction that is most vociferously attacking her character and her body. And you don't know we're being kind to you and saying stop taking that stuff. David buprenorphine is your murderer. It's not the rotten. It's not even the vape. That's why I said enjoy it, because you knew you were going to quit, right? Well, yeah, that too, but your value was about correct. About a tenth the value of a cigarette per vape. Per puff. I think it's about equal. Puff per puff per puff. Per puff per, you know what I mean? And then you go down, and it's about the same value as 1/10 of the poison of a cigarette. Now that's to include all the fun things that we discovered along the way. That vapes, what they do is well, you can have shorts. I know I'm going across segues, so just bear with me. I'm with you. Okay. So, I get where you're going with this. And continue. Okay. So, that's another big deal. We do not have dementia in our family. Grandpa and Nana and Grandma, to their dying day, were very clear, very cognizant. And I want my parents here, David. And I want them here. And I don't know how to prove to a person in your time on the screen here if you're psychic or crazy, right? Other than the most obviously loud way to prove it, and that is simply to win the lottery. And so I mean, in the past, like, well, I'm a fucking psychic, I can win the lottery. It's been a journey, it's been a challenge, it's been a freaking battle. Because a lot of the stuff I'm hearing is very obviously accurate. Very obviously real. I have an old lottery ticket that I even remember was for the wrong damn game, but it didn't matter because they gave me the number, or I did, to let me know